My name is Roberta Schwartz. I am the Executive Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer at Houston Methodist Hospital, and I am serving as the Incident Commander on our COVID-19 efforts within the Houston Methodist system. Incident command in any disaster is the location where the activities of a particular incident are managed. It's the central nervous system, the brain of the incident response. It's where all decisions flow up to, and once a decision has been made, decisions flow back from. We made a decision early on in our journey with COVID that for the first time we were going to have system-wide incident command to manage our COVID activities.
A lot of questions, as Vicki said, with people coming back to work, but there are lots of detailed questions. Wait, where do I get my pre-admission testing? How do I pick up the right PPE? What am I supposed to be wearing? What am I supposed to be doing? Some of those answers are very clear, and your incident command has those. Some of them, if you will continue to send upwards so that we know whether or not there's incremental guidance that needs to go out. One of the pieces I'm getting more and more clear on that for us needs to put out statements on is shoe covers and head coverings, which will be needed in the surgical environments as we go back in.
Each day has been completely different. When there was a growing number of COVID patients, we were deciding when to cut off our visitors, when to shut down our surgeries, what type of services and when we should shut them off. We kind of had shut down into a little cocoon of really taking care of just the COVID patients and those patients who emergently needed us. Now, as we're kind of moving into another phase, we're looking at what could open, how it can open. We're focused on the efforts to be able to bring those people who need us back into the medical center. Everyone is looking to their leadership for their fantastic, incredible crystal balls that will tell them exactly how this will end and when it will end and when things will go back to normal. I keep explaining to everyone that my crystal ball has broken. I'm doing the best that I can with everybody else in figuring out how to get through a very novel and confusing situation to the best of our ability. But I think that the cooperation that we're having, the sharing that we're having, and the overall impact is absolutely incredible. COVID's different than anything I've ever done. I've been in this field for 30 years, and everything about this situation is challenging. Whereas we've had disasters that have played with physical and fiscal and mental issues, this one takes all of those to a new scale. Every aspect of our daily lives has basically changed during this disaster. We're creatures who are meant to interact and hug each other and celebrate together and be social beings. And that piece of socially distance is really hard. For me, I try not to think about that overwhelming nature and just keep putting one foot in front of the other and making the next best decision for the organization and for our patients. Every decision goes through anywhere from 1 to 100 hours of discussion in incident command to make sure that any decision that is made is well thought through. And they're really challenging discussions. We have learned far more about therapies for COVID and testing of COVID. We have discussions with laboratory about, can they get it done? Do they have the equipment to get it done? And once we get it done, is it a meaningful test, and will it give us the information that we need to manage ourselves in the population? We have learned every aspect of PPE. There's constant experimentation, constant arrival of new equipment that we're looking at, studying, discussing whether or not it's good for one population or another population.
This machine is what we call a halo. It's been out on the market maybe for a little while. We like the functionality of it, and we are likely to go to it for many different applications.
We're also constantly working with all of the other hospitals in the Texas Medical Center and working with national hospitals on conference calls and webinars to really make sure that we're doing best practice sharing. We were able to do some of the things we did in Houston only because New York and California were weeks ahead of us, and we could kind of see what was likely to come to Houston and make some of those decisions based on how other people were doing things.
This is Becky Harrington with the Leadership Institute, and we'd like to welcome everyone to our weekly LI COVID-19 webinar. We're going to begin with our two wonderful chairs, Dr. Roberta Swartz and Dr. Dan Zarga, and they're going to share from Texas and from New Jersey their current top 10 takeaways from the evolving COVID-19 playbook. Roberta?
I'll start out by saying that there is absolutely so much to be proud of in the healthcare system. No doubt, I think my number one, probably through 10, is the pride that I have. As we bring a whole workforce back to work that haven't been here in a while, and that goes from doctors all the way down, adaptability is key. And
many of us, we've been together through Allison and Rita and Katrina and Ike and Harvey and Ebola. Some of us who were there during the Ebola time had already thought through some of the infectious disease type of issues that we were going to have to deal with. Developing a unit that was going to be an infectious disease unit, what it was going to take to bring up separate emergency room facilities and separate units and separate areas if we had to do it. And it's not just incident command, it's the adaptability and the resilience of our 25,000 employees. There are a million different things that people have had to face, and there are some who have faced the disease head on, and there are some who are behind the scenes and some who are supporting those folks. Everyone has made contributions, and for that I'm very thankful. I am a hands-on leader, and anybody who knows me knows that being out on the floor and being in touch is everything about who I am. I love just coming in to spend time with people, and whether that's popping into patient rooms or just hanging out with our staff. Not only is it really important to me, but it's where I derive my energy to keep going and doing what I do. You could never get me to give that up. Not being able to be out on the floors right now is very hard for me. I cannot wait for the moment where we kind of move into a recovery mode and I can put on my PPE and get back out onto all the floors.
Hey, how are you? You are. You're doing great. Thank you so much for taking care of the patients and being their family and being their arms and legs. So important.
It's my pleasure.
Our long-term focus has to be on living in this bifurcated world. You know, we're going to be living in an environment now where COVID is going to be likely in our both vocabulary as well as our ongoing daily lives now for years. We need to be prepared as an organization to titrate up and down our COVID activities, and that just has to become part of our daily lives. And we do have to get comfortable with that. I know who this organization is, and I know our people. Are we going to stumble along the way and hit some potholes and hit some moments of challenge? Absolutely. But when you add all of the moments of friction and the great moments and the shining moments together, all of those things add up to who we are and what make us great. And I had no doubt about how Houston Methodist would come through COVID. From the moment we had the first patient to where we are today to where we will be in another 6 months or a year, because we're Houston Methodist.